Welcome in, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's Byron Jamal, the love guru, coming in to talk a little bit about love today. I'm really excited about our conversation today. I got my brother Craig Stewart coming on. This man is amazing. I've been following him for a while, and if you know who he is, then you know that his conversations are always real, raw, and to the point. So happy Tuesday, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm really excited about this conversation. I'm going to go ahead and put up my graphic. Give me 1 second. This is still new for me. All right, there we go. So today, I have Craig Stewart on from T.S. Madison Experience. He's an amazing author. All of his stuff goes 5 stars. You have a young man who is an amazing host as well on his podcast. For those of you who know me, go ahead and drop your city and your state. Drop your city and your state. I love to know where you are. I love to know how you're vibing, where you're vibing at. So go ahead and drop that for me. I am currently right now in Atlanta, Georgia. So hopefully you are somewhere safe watching this show tonight. We're going to have an amazing conversation about love, relationships. As a fellow writer, I love talking to other writers because their mind is just, it's just open. As writers, we have to think about stuff. So, I see you, New York. I see you, LA. I see you, Cleveland. I see you, Wichita in the building. All right, Brooklyn, Philly. Yes, Maryland, my old school. I used to live up in Maryland area. So shout out to all my Maryland folks. Chicago in the house. I got some good people over there as well. Thank y'all for coming in. Real quick, because I don't want to take a long time doing the opening today because I really want to make sure I bring him in. So I want to do a quick 5-minute motivation today. And as you can see the title right there, Stop Chasing Love and It Will Find You. Real quick, I want to talk to you about this, but real quick, let me pray for you real quick so we can get started. In the name of all that is love, I pray for everybody listening tonight, everyone who will be on. I pray you open their hearts, open their minds to hear something that will change them, to grow them, to mature them, to attract more love in their life, to have more love flow easily and fluidly in their life today. I pray that these conversations allow people to develop into the full versions of themselves, to see themselves as God beings, as love vessels, and as people of purpose. I pray all these things today in the name of love. Amen. Look, I want to go ahead and start with this thought. Stop chasing love and it will find you. Can I just say that again? Stop chasing love and it will find you. I want somebody to write that in the comments. Stop chasing love and it will find you. Byron, what do you mean by that? I thought you were telling me that I need to go after love, that I need to go after things that are loving and loveful. I thought I needed to go after things that were lovable. No, baby, let me tell you something. You got to stop going after love. Love is not something you chase. Love is something that comes after you. The Bible even says, surely goodness and mercy shall follow you all the days of your life. There are blessings that come after you. But what happens is you've got to get in alignment with the love that you want. You've got to be the vessel that attracts the thing. Okay, so let me use an analogy here because I love to use illustrations. Imagine you're on a boat and you have an anchor and you're at the shore and you have an anchor you've thrown over the edge because you want to be safe, because you don't want the boat to go away. You're trying to be safe, so you throw over the anchor over the edge, and you want to use the anchor as a security blanket, as a safety net, as a security method. And so you are just staying right there on the shore, but you don't get on a boat. You don't get on a boat to stay at the shore. You get on a boat to sail. You get on a boat to sail. Can I just tell you, a lot of times when you're chasing after love, you are putting your anchor down into a situation. You are putting your anchor down. You are saying, I'm putting my anchor down so I can just go after love. All I want is love. I'm going to focus on love. I'm going to put my heart on love. So I'm anchoring down on love. No. We're not doing that, baby. We're going to go out and sail. The people that need to find you hear this, and I want you to hear this prophetically. I want you to hear this. There are more people on the shore than there are in the sea. And why does that matter? Because you say, Byron, I keep attracting all the wrong people, people that don't fit me. That's because there's so many people on the shore. You're bound to meet people that aren't good for you on the shore. It's when you get out in the sea. It's when you pull your anchor up and live. All I'm trying to do today to tell you is to live. I want you to go out, live your best life. I don't want you to go after love. I want you to go after life. I want you to go after joy. I want you to go after your purpose. I want you to go after your vision. I want you to go after your destiny. I want you to go after the things that are good for you, the things that are right for you. Stop chasing people. Start chasing purpose. And when you do that, I will promise you, when you get out in the sea, you will meet fewer people, but they will be better quality. You will meet fewer people, but they will be in alignment. You will meet fewer people, but they will have your spirit, your drive, and your determination. There are only a select few people that are willing to leave the shore. So when you get out there in the sea, you're only going to meet sea people. Can I just tell you, you're trying to find the right person, get out where they are. Leave the spaces where they are and go to them. So I'm imploring you today to stop chasing love and you will find it. Stop chasing after someone and start going after what you want in your own life. Find your own joy. Count it all joy. Find your own joy. And I promise, you will find the love that you deserve. So hopefully that connected with your spirit today. I just felt so fired up about that. I know a lot of people who are out there and they're chasing after people. They want people to do right. They say, hey, Byron, can you help me, my man, do right? I say, don't look for your man to do right. Can I just say that again? Don't look for your man to do right. In fact, you go do better by yourself and see if they come up to the level that you're at, because anything that's good for you will match you. Anything that's good for you will align with you. Anything that's good for you will match you. Come on now. I'm just hoping I'll help somebody out there. Now look, that's your 5-minute motivation. I am just deeply excited today to bring on an amazing, dynamic brother. This man went to Hampton University. He doesn't know that I went to Norfolk State, but we're going to have a good talk across the water tonight. I'm going to go ahead and bring him in as I take this down. Yes, and bring my brother Craig to the building. You can keep dropping your city and your state as we're talking. Don't forget to drop questions. And I'm doing a giveaway at the end, so you're going to want to stay tuned to the very end here today. Craig, welcome in, brother.
I think I need to turn on my Wi-Fi. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
It's not lagging?
No, not lagging at all.
Okay. How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. How are you today?
I'm amazing. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
This is a pleasure, man. I'm just glad to be on with you. I have followed you for quite some time, and it's so funny because we have mutual friends who I remember it was about 2 or 3 years ago. They were like, do you know Craig? Do you know Craig? He's a writer too. And I was like, no, I don't know anybody named Craig. I only know somebody off of Friday. I don't know nothing about no Craig. Yeah. But I got to follow you because of that, and I just love your journey, man. You're just doing some amazing things and really representing the community well. You went to Hampton. What were you studying there?
I was a broadcast journalism. I was mass media arts.
So
I thought that I wanted to be on the news. I thought I wanted to sit at a news desk, deliver the news. But, you know, once I got into my sophomore year, that's when we started taking out our major courses. Yeah. And I realized that I didn't love the news that much. I knew I wanted to do more of a creative writing.
Yeah.
And I didn't love news enough for someone to curate what I wrote about. I didn't want to go into Yeah, I didn't want to talk about the elections today and then tomorrow a fire and the next day a murder. Like, I wanted to do more of a creative writing.
So you didn't want to do articles on festivals and,
no.
You know.
No, I didn't want to do any of that. Yeah, no.
Well, you found your path and you found your purpose. You really have stepped up in an amazing space. I mean, you have a great platform that allows you to really speak on a lot of issues, and you do. You go right in. You don't mind having a conversation. Where did you get that boldness and that passion? Because as Black men, a lot of times we told to shut up and let somebody else speak. So where did you get that passion?
I think it was always there. But I think working with Madison kind of ignited it, right?
She on 120, yes.
Yeah, she ignited it, I have to say. Um, Believe it or not, I really was, not any longer, but I was a shy person, right? I'm very gregarious when I'm around people that I know, but when I'm around people that I'm not really familiar with, I don't really say a whole lot. Now I've moved out of that, I've grown out of that, but previously I didn't really do a lot of talking to people that I didn't know. But I had started a podcast probably about 5 years ago called So Much to Say. It's called So Much to Say Podcast. It's still available over on YouTube, on my YouTube channel. And a friend of mine, I was telling a friend of mine, I said, I want to start this podcast and I want to talk about black shit, white shit, gay shit, and everything in between, right? And he said, okay, now listen, if you're going to start this podcast, you need to give them all of Craig. Don't just give them this professional, pulled together Craig. He said, because Craig, you're so funny. And you have so much personality. He said, your voice goes up and down in these different inflections. He said, don't just get over there and just do this safe talk.
Yes.
And when he said that to me, I had an epiphanal moment. For me, I realized that I was always speaking in a safe space because I didn't want people to be able to identify that I was gay. It was a way for me to try to control those idiosyncrasies and those kind of things. But, now I don't give a damn. But, it was just one of those things. But when he said it was a real moment for me. And he was like, if you're going to really do this, he said, you need to get out there and really let them hear your personality. This is before I was doing lives on Facebook and YouTube, before I had my little community. And so when he said it, it was just like a light bulb moment for me. But you had said something a moment ago, and you said, I've carved out this community for myself and this career and that kind of thing. But I have to tell you, it wasn't always that way. I literally was at one point questioning whether or not I was really on the right path, if I was really on course, the correct course.
So what was the defining moment that said, aha, this is right. I'm okay here. Let's keep moving.
It wasn't a single moment. There were several moments. Several moments that kind of came together. And this is why I say to my people that watch me live on Facebook and YouTube, pay closer attention to your life. Because it's easy to just kind of get caught up in the rat race. You got friends, you got family, you may be in a relationship, you got this job, you may have this side hustle, you may be going back to school. You have to take time to really just breathe in life, accept what is, and understand that everything happens when and as it should. And what I realized throughout my 20s, I'm now 45, but I realized throughout my 20s
Good looking 45, brother. Go ahead.
Well, No, thank you. But I realized that in your 20s, and this is probably true for most people, in your 20s, you're reaching and pulling and grabbing and trying to force and manipulate things to happen. You're trying to bring things closer to you. You want to control it, whether it's a relationship, whether it's your success, your career movement. Like in your 20s, you think you can just kind of grab the bull by the horn and just do what you want to do. But it's not until you get into your 30s. And in my first book, Words Never Spoken, there's a chapter called 30 Shift. Because there's a shift that happens when you turn 30. And when you turn 30, and it's somewhere between 30 and 35, when you really start to understand the mechanics of life. And how the universe really works, the law of reciprocity. What you put out has to come back. And you also start to understand that you can't manipulate and control everything. Some things are just going to happen to you. And you start to realize that these things are designed to grow you. But when you're in your 20s, you're like, you're spoiled. You want to have your way. And I remember my mother used to say to me, you need to learn how to sacrifice. She used to tell me that when I was in my 20s, like when I first left Hampton.
She was talking good to you.
And I didn't want to hear that shit.
You didn't want to hear that.
When I first left Hampton and I moved to Atlanta, she used to say, and I thought I was going to come down here and just start writing music. And I was just going to get it popping. I thought I was going to be a millionaire by the time I was 25. And she said, but I had all of these setbacks.
Mm.
Right? And she used to tell me, you need to learn how to sacrifice. I'm like, what do you mean I am sacrificing? I can't go shopping every week like I used to do at Hampton, and I don't have all that extra money. You know, I got rent right now, and
Right.
you know, I got to pay this, and I got to. She said, no,
That's
baby,
not the
that ain't.
sacrifice.
She said that ain't
That
sacrificing.
ain't the sacrifice. No.
That ain't sacrificing.
That
But I
wasn't
didn't
it.
understand that, right? And it wasn't until, because your question was, when did I realize that I was on the correct course?
Yeah.
It was a series of life changes. It was a series of setbacks. It was a series of obstacles. So many moments of falling down, skinning my knees, getting back up, starting all over again. There were times that I worked jobs that I thought were a waste of my time. Like, why am I here? This is stupid. I felt like they were in my way. They were in the way. And so I didn't really give my best at any of those jobs, whether it was a part-time job at Banana Republic or working as a host at a restaurant. I didn't give my best, and I was kicking and screaming the entire time. I didn't want to be there. But what I learned is you will remain at that station in life until you learn to appreciate it and move through it with grace and dignity. And when you learn to appreciate this level, whether it's your job, whether it's your finances, whether it's the car you're driving, whether it's the house you live in, once you start to understand this level and appreciate the universe, God will move you to the next.
I'm telling you, brother,
that was when I
are right
realized
on.
it was too many times standing out at the food stamp office.
Yes.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
When I first started going, I started feeling, oh, I'm better than this. You know, I got a college degree. Why am I here? But then after that third, fourth time going down there, it was just like, oh, okay. Hey, how y'all doing? You know, you start to humble yourself.
They know your name, right? When they know
your name.
You know, hello.
And you got to start to humble yourself.
Man, you speaking the word. Look, I've learned this over time. I really have. And I've learned it going through my own life situations and trials and setbacks. I realized that you have to think of life like a river, where you don't have to fight. You don't go upstream. You're not trying to go against the current. You are literally just in the flow, allowing it to take you where you're supposed to go. The more that you fight against it, that's when you end up having your difficulties in life. The more that you push against it, that's when you start meeting people you're not supposed to. That's when you start are coming up against situations. Your favor is in the flow. Your favor is when you are in the natural stream. And see, that's the thing. When you're in the river, this is why we have trouble. Is the river moves at its own pace. The river moves at its own flow. And so you may want to speed up, but the river's saying, no, don't move me. Don't move me right here, because where you are,
because there are lessons
right here. Yes, that's what, to your point, like you thought you would be further ahead by now. But it's not about being further faster. I tell this to my people when they're trying to date somebody and they're rushing it along and they're moving along and they're on day 2 and I'm like, why are y'all already engaged on day 2? I'm like, if you have a lifetime, why are you rushing? Think about that. You have a lifetime, why are you rushing? There is nothing that you have to rush to in life. You are on the path. It is coming to you. It is moving your way. And as long as you just stay in that flow and stay present in the moment, you can accept and be grateful and gracious when stuff flows your way. What I heard you say is you weren't grateful about some of the situations that you were going through. And so God ended up holding you to say, until you learn how to appreciate this moment, until you can appreciate the small things, I can't give you the bigger things.
Exactly. And your analogy with the river and flowing, the way that I language it, and this is my best work. Do you hear me? This is my best work.
Come on, speak it.
The way that I language it in Book of Jewels is I say you have to learn to adapt to whatever life sends you, wherever life sends you, whichever way the universe blows you, you have to learn to adapt. And there was something you said. I also say in here, there's something sweet about gradual.
Yes.
There's something sweet about gradual.
Stay right
about
there.
taking
Stay
your
right
time.
there.
And you mentioned relationships. That's in relationships.
Yes.
That's in gaining your education. That's in being an entrepreneur and starting your business.
Yes.
It is something sweet about gradual. Take your time. Like there's a book that I really enjoy. It's called The Alchemist.
That's a good book, brother. That's a solid book.
And it's a book of metaphors.
Mm-hmm.
And there's so many metaphors for life in that book, right? Now, the book, of course, it's about a shepherd.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, he's moving these sheep and he gets distracted on this journey. But the overall message of the book is, even when he was off course for a year at a time, he was still on the same journey.
Say that
And
word.
so that was what I realized. Even though I worked at Banana Republic part-time, even though I was lifting and Ubering for part-time, even though I was substitute teaching, working as a host in that restaurant, the end was still the end. I was still going to be sitting here with 4 books. You understand what I'm saying? With a greeting card business.
Yes.
You understand what I'm saying? Like, the journey was still the journey.
This journey is can I tell you, brother, you are right on it. The reason why I'm saying you're right on it right now is because literally in this book, Dating Men, I address that one thing. I'm gonna do like you with the cookbooks. I literally address that. I say this, that in much of life, if you were, when you went to Hampton, if you were day one at Hampton and you were sitting there and upset in your first class, first teacher, first assignment, and you were sitting there and you were upset that you didn't have your degree yet, you would be so distracted by your disappointment and frustration that you wouldn't focus on the assignment at hand.
You're not present.
So what happens is we don't realize, baby, you are already enrolled. You already got accepted. All you got to do is the coursework to get through the assignments, and you're going to end up where you got accepted to in the first place. The degree is on the way. Another way to say that is, baby, why are you frustrated when you have a reservation? Why are you frustrated? The reservation may not be in 10 minutes, but the reservation has your name on it. Why are you worried today about a reservation tomorrow?
Because the reality is
enjoying today.
Because the reality is you don't trust and you don't believe. You
Now
don't believe. You don't believe you deserve it. You don't believe that it's going to come for you. And so you try to rush things. One of the things that one of the lessons that I've learned too is in my journey, you know, I remember in the beginning of my journey, I remember not having the money to build a website.
Yeah.
And I was frustrated. I was working jobs or whatever, but I never had enough money to build a website. Or it may have been enough money to buy business cards. Because remember, at the time, everybody was carrying business cards. So there were always these things along the way that I couldn't get to financially. And one of the things that I discovered, and I talk about in this chapter called Passion, Fate, and Destiny.
Yes.
One of the things that I realized is that if it was necessary for you to have it now, the universe would have provided for you to get it. So in other words, my business wasn't where it needed to be for me to need a website. Because if I needed a website in that moment, the universe would have provided the resources to get a website. So that was one of the things. And like to the point that you made a moment ago, sometimes we frustrate ourselves and we get depressed because we're anxious and we're trying to make things happen quicker than they are. And so we frustrate ourselves. And that's why I sunk into a depression at one point around my career and around my finances, because I thought I could force and manipulate success. But if you stop trying to put this kind of pressure on yourself and stop comparing the best of yourself to your friends, your family members, and other people around you, then you won't be in this angst. And you'll just be able to trust the process.
Baby, look, Craig, when you put seed in the ground, the seed is not concerned about the other seed and how they're growing. They share in the same soil. All they're concerned about is, am I getting what I need and doing what I'm supposed to be doing to grow at the pace that I've been called to grow at? Because I know there's a destiny with fruit on my limb. I know that I'm called to it. So I'm not worried about the seed that looked just like me that went in next to me. I'm not worried about that one. I'm not concerned about the tree that they turn into. As long as I understand there's enough ground for all of us to be able to grow our roots and to sprout, then whatever timing you go up and whatever timing I go up, we're all going up. That's all that matters.
And here's how
I'm excited to see when somebody else go up, because that means I'm in good ground.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love that. I love that.
I'm in good ground. Look, I can talk about that all day, brother. Look, for you and love, how has that process been? Because I know when you are a public figure, when you are doing things, and when you're in your purpose. And this conversation is going to help anybody who is like moving in their purpose, trying to do big things, have a good job. They're working on something. You building a business, whatever it is. How is it? Because when people see you doing something, sometimes they treat you differently than if they couldn't see you doing something.
Well, you know, I was single for 9 years. And during that period where I was single, see, this is why I say all the time, trust the process and trust, believe, and know that the universe is always conspiring to move you. It's always conspiring to move you in the quickest, most efficient way possible to whatever your journey is, whatever your goal is, whether that's marriage with children, whether that's a degree, whatever that is, right? The universe is always conspiring to do the best for you.
For you.
But when I was single for those 9 years,
yeah,
I did the work on me. Like I had to figure out all of the things that I need to work on for me, because when I was in relationship previously, I would get distracted and something would suffer, and it would always be my work. And one of the realizations that I had was every single thing that I created, because I wrote and produced a stage play as well, I was always single. I was never in a relationship when I wrote any of these books, when I produced my stage play, when I started my greeting card business. I was always single.
Yeah.
Pardon me. And what I realized was God didn't want anybody else's hands on me because he had his hands on me.
Come on.
And so,
come on, say that again. No, say that again. Don't even try to go ahead. Go say that again.
In those 9 years when I was single, I realized that I was single because God didn't want anybody else's hands on me because he had his hands on me.
I need y'all to hear that. Amen. Keep going. All right. That was good, brother.
Thank you. And so, but I call that like my gestation period. That was like my time of reflection. Like I sat and I didn't pine over being single. Of course, there were moments where I was like, damn, it would be nice to be in a relationship. But I didn't sit and worry about it and stress about it. I just was like, okay, there's a reason that I'm single. I have other work to do. And sometimes it's not about building a business or building a career. Sometimes you need to work on you. You talking about you're ready to be in a relationship,
but business of you.
But you can't be corrected. Can't nobody tell you nothing. You understand what I'm saying? Because I believe that relationships are, listen, if you don't go over there and get Book of Jewels, relationships are the place that we go to learn and grow. And if you're not interested in learning and growing, a relationship is not where you need to be. Period. Because a relationship, your partner is there to be a mirror reflection for you. And you're supposed to be a mirror reflection for them. They're supposed to be able to point out your shit, and you're supposed to be able to point out their shit in a loving, tactful way. Yes. In a loving, tactful way.
Tactful way. That's right. I do address that, and that's a big piece about what relationships are.
In a loving, tactful way.
Just the very definition of the word relationship, when we talk about it, it's broken into 3 parts. Re means the prefix re means to do again, and ship means a state of being. So if you reship something, you send it back to its state of being. But if you add in the middle word, which means to transport, it literally means to transport back to its original state of being. When you get in somebody's life and you form a relationship, you're supposed to transport them back to their original state of being. What's the original state of being? Now, if we look all the way back, it was before any sin, before any the awareness of that we were naked, before we were naked and unashamed and all that. It is literally before you knew fear, before you knew limitation, before you knew doubt, before you knew depression, before you knew your limitations, before you had any anxiety, when you were a little kid and you just thought you could do any and everything that you believed you could fly, like R. Kelly. You were so far ahead in your thinking because you just trusted, you just believed, you had open faith, you were just an open source. And that's what a relationship's supposed to make you feel. It's supposed to make you feel like you can do it, baby. You can go for it. You got this. I'm on your side. You're bigger than your past. You're bigger than your mistakes. You're gonna be all right. I believe that you can. Come on. Yes, all of that.
But you know, I think what happens is when people are choosing their partners, they're not choosing someone that's going to challenge them. They're not choosing a soul partner. They're choosing somebody that they have something in common with. Oh, he's handsome. Oh, she's pretty. Oh, he has a nice body. Oh, he has a great job. Oh, he has a nice house, a nice car, whatever, whatever. For me, when you really tap into who you are and you really know your name, like you really have to choose that person that's going to challenge you to grow.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. That's
But
good.
what happens a lot of times is, and a lot of times when you do choose that person, when you do choose correctly, oftentimes people, when you're called to task or you're called to the carpet, your partner says to you, babe, you need to really work on this. You need to look at this, da da da. You get bent out of shape because you don't want to hear it because you can't be corrected. But my thing is, you have to remember this is the person you chose because you trusted them to be able to tell you and to teach you and to show you and guide you. And you're supposed to do that for them. But a lot of times people's ego and pride get in the way and they're like, well, you ain't got to tell me. And then people get to clash and then they break up. But that's the ultimate goal for me. Now, when I was in my 20s, yeah, I was dating because, you know, he was this or he was that, or, you know, but when you start to, what I needed in my 20s was very different from what I needed in my 30s. And what I needed in my 30s is truly different from what I need in my 40s.
Yes, I agree, brother. Like, you got to understand what it is that you need. Look, there, if you open up a chick's egg for the chick, then it will not develop the strength to be able to survive once it's out. It needs to break out of its own shell to gain the strength that it needs to survive on the outside. A relationship is supposed to be that protective shell that it breaks you, it forces you to confront your own weaknesses. It forces you to confront the things that are hindering you, that are pushing you back. And that's what God does to us all the time. Sometimes we think God is setting us up for bad stuff, and God's like, no, I only put this here so you can learn how to develop a little more strength, because I can't give the 50-pound blessing I want to give to you when you got 5-year-old weight. I can't give you the 100-pound blessing when you got 1-year-old strength. I can't give you the weight of what I want to give you because you haven't developed the strength to handle it. And see, a lot of people think that the pressing, the stress and the pressure is to actually hurt you. It's actually to strengthen you. And when you realize that the strengthening is what's going to help you take access to the bigger blessings, and guess what? Not just the bigger blessings, the bigger people, the people, like I mentioned earlier, the people who are out there in the sea, the people who know how to handle the rowing and handle the hard waters and handle the storms of life. So you need somebody that's not weak. You need somebody that can handle shit because they've been through shit and they know how to deal with it, so they know how to deal with yours.
You know, it's interesting that you say that, because my guy and I, we were talking the other day, and he was telling me that one of his friends, she said to him one time, I don't think I can date this guy. He's too smart for me. I think sometimes people's insecurities get in the way too, and you make poor choices or you date down, right? You're intimidated by a person's success. You're intimidated by a person's education. You're intimidated by a person's looks because you don't think that you're worthy or deserving. You know, and so sometimes we self-sabotage.
Yes,
because we think somebody is further along than we are in whatever capacity. But people say all the time that they want to be around people who are going to grow them and inspire them. But then when you're around it, instead of being inspired, you're intimidated. You're jealous. And I say here, people are either inspired by you or intimidated because of you. There is no in between.
There's no in between. There's no in between. And I'm glad that you're on, because I'm inspired by you.
Thank you.
You have that energy. You definitely have that wisdom, and you have that life experience. And this is why we live. This is why we go through stuff, because life experience is what helps formulate the foundation, really, of who we are, that we can build our true selves on. You know, because you get in this world, people try to tell you who you should be, tell you how you should live, how you should think. And finally, you get to the point where you just had that one more experience that you realize, you know what? It really is me out in these streets. I really am pretty much on my own. I gotta figure out stuff I gotta be my own person. I gotta do the stuff I enjoy. I have to do the stuff that brings me joy, that brings me pleasure. I can't be worried about what people think about me. I gotta stop being concerned about what people are saying about me behind my, who cares? I want to be happy. And it's that one more thing that just happens in your life where you like, you know what? You know what? Nope, you know what? I'm gonna be me now. I'm gonna be me. I'm gonna be me 100%. Like you said earlier, you're gonna start being the bubbly, open, funny type of person. You're gonna start saying what you really feel and stop doing the suit and ties, buttoned up. You're gonna let it out. That was me too, brother. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Trying to be polished.
Trying to be polished. But polish, hear this, polish is overrated. Polish is overrated. I realize that. Be yourself. If you got lumps and bumps and bruises, I'll never forget when I was a kid. I made we were given a task when I was in elementary school to make something nice for our parents, and so they gave us clay. And when I was working with the clay, and I was going to make a bear in a chair for my dad, he was going to be watching TV, right? Because he's so amazing. He worked hard, Jamaican man. He had several jobs and all that stuff. So I wanted to honor him. The only problem was I don't know how to really work with my hands with clay. So I was trying my best to make a bear in a chair watching TV. Time ran out. I didn't get time to make the TV. Time ran out. I didn't really get time to make legs on the chair. So I ended up having more like a dog in a beanbag instead of a bear in a chair. So I was really upset. And the teacher that day was like, don't worry, Byron, you'll get a chance tomorrow to paint it. When I put it in the oven, you'll get a chance to paint it and it'll be all right. I said, okay, all right, I'll fix it with the paint. I'll put a good color. So that night I was thinking, I was like, I'm gonna get all these colors together. I'm gonna make something he ain't never seen before. Please don't mix 7 colors together because she will turn out black. And that's what happened. It turned into a black dog in a black beanbag. And so it was it was nothing like what I imagined. It was lumpy, it was bumpy, it was not the color I wanted, it was not the shape I wanted. And I took it home to my mom and dad, and I was crying. I was upset that this thing was brought to them because it wasn't like what I wanted. And then they took it and they hugged me and they put it on the mantle where we put awards and medals of honor. And I realized years later what that meant, that they weren't concerned about how it was made. They were concerned about who made it. And I keep trying to tell people, baby, you were made by God. You were made. I don't care what your life is looking like. I don't care how lumpy and bumpy you feel. I don't care all the bumps and bruises. That stuff didn't turn out the way you wanted. You were made by the divine. And that was intentional. You were made with love. You were made with purpose. Craig, you were made with purpose. No matter what you've been through, no matter how you've been through it, you were protected. You were guarded. It was on purpose. It was on assignment. And so I'm just glad that you are on even today to do the work that you're doing, because this is so necessary for people to hear your story and to understand, like, this is real. Your life is necessary. It is not an accident. Even if your parents said it was an accident, it's not an accident. And so I'm just glad you are an intentional being talking with me today. I'm just having a good time with you. I'm sorry. I'm just enjoying your presence on here. You got one more book you want to show?
Yeah, I do. This is my second book.
Come on, brother.
One thing for certain, two things for sure. But you know what? Just going over to CraigTheWriterStewart.com.
Yes.
All of the books are there.
So let me do this tonight. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this for you. You can do it how you want. Send me a link so that I can just send me, I guess, I don't know, Apple Pay or something. I'm going to buy one of each of your books and we'll give them out to somebody. All right?
Okay. So one of the things that you touched on a moment ago was this idea about perfection. And whether you're talking about relationships, there's no perfect relationship. No. Those little imperfections in the relationship are what help create foundations and benchmarks in your relationship. But also going back to like my career and in the beginning, when my friend said to me, listen, don't try to start this podcast and be perfect. Like, you need to share your story and be honest with your story and let people see your human side. And once I started doing it and started doing lives on Facebook and YouTube, I realized that the success that I was looking for didn't come until I was authentic.
Mm.
Because when I was releasing my first book, I was trying to be this polished author. I was very clean in the way that I would post on social media. I didn't use like curse words or profanity and that kind of thing. And so I was very, very pulled up and pulled together, right? But I realized, because of that, that aha moment that a friend of mine gave me, that people want real. People want to see themselves. They want to see their mistakes in you and
Come
still
on.
know and realize that they can make it, whatever that means. They still want to be able to know that, oh, okay, he had a few missteps. He was involved with a married man. You understand what I'm saying? Like, they want to know that. And so when I got on that podcast and started being so authentic, that was when the people started to come. And the people started, being consistent on my social media.
Do you know why, though? Do you know why?
I think because they gravitated to, okay, so one, I do think that the books are very good. I think the books are very well written.
They're good. They're good.
If I could just toot my own horn for a second.
Why did they attract to your authentic nature?
Because I believe because they saw themselves.
Because they saw what they wanted to be, brother.
That too.
They saw what they wanted to be. They saw the authentic nature in you and said, if he can do it, I can too.
Absolutely. Yes. And they saw all of that. And I believe also that when you plant your seeds deep enough in the soil with good intention, and your intentions are pure, where they grow, not go, but where they grow, will always far exceed your expectations. When your intentions are pure and you plant them deep in the soil, they will always go further and grow further than you ever even anticipated. Oprah used to say all the time, God can dream a bigger dream for you than you could ever dream for yourself. And I realize that now. Like, I just bought my first house. And when I say my community, they bought every single thing that was on my housewarming registry. Like, they kept asking me. I wasn't even going to post one. They kept asking me, well, where's your registry? So I had to make a registry on Amazon. And when I say they bought everything, I mean, like, literally the first 2.5 weeks that I was here, or 3 weeks, there were packages coming to the door. Like, and there were so many boxes, and just, it was crazy. You know what I mean? And so I just feel like I really believe in the law of reciprocity. What you put out into the world, it comes back, right?
Yes.
And I believe that somewhere along the way, whether it was in these books, whether it was in some of my stage plays or the greeting cards or what I've shared on the live, I believe that whatever that goodness was, it's come back. And I can't sometimes explain it. Sometimes I wake up with tears in gratitude, just because I can't even believe that this is my life now. Because I can literally, and I've said this so many times before, I can truly reach back just a handful of years, and I was driving Lyft and Uber, selling books out of the trunk of the car.
Yes, sir.
Substitute teaching. They're badass kids. You know what I'm saying? Saying all day long. Saying all day long, take the AirPods out your ear. You understand? But
them AirPods are the devil for teachers now, boy. Woo. Oh God. You really have, like, not only transformed but also helped other people step into the light. And for you, what is one of the best lessons that you love to teach people when it comes to being themselves?
One of the things that I always say is, every single day that you're not standing in your truth, living in your truth, you shrink. And when you're shrinking, you're dying a bit. Every single day that you shrink, you die a bit. And that's not if you're not standing in your truth, as just in terms of your sexuality. That's if you're not following your passion, your life. Because I believe we were all called to do something.
Yes.
Right?
Absolutely.
And I believe that there are certain disparities in the world because everyone isn't living up to their potential because of fear, because they're afraid of failing in front of family, or whatever it is, or because the work just seems too magnificent that they don't want to attempt it. But I believe that there's homelessness, and I talk about this in Book of Jewels. Like, I believe that there's homelessness. I believe that there's cancer, because there's probably a doctor right now, a potential doctor that could be watching us right now, that didn't go to medical school because they were distracted by the cost of medical school, or because they didn't have the support to get behind them. There's homelessness because there are people who have ideas around curing homelessness, but they're not in that field. They're an attorney. You understand what I'm saying?
You're
So
saying
I just think that we're not doing what we were called to do.
Do you ever, and I had this conversation with a young doctor last night, do you ever have any pressure as a Black man to live up to the standard? You know, Black, especially gay Black men, it seems like we carry the weight of the world. You know, now that social media is on, we got the weight of the whole world on us to be a certain type of person. I'll never forget, I had a mentor in seminary who was like, Byron, I don't want you to be gay. And I was like, well, why not? And he was like, I don't want you to be gay because you're a strong Black man, and we need strong Black men to be strong Black fathers and raise strong Black kids. And we need you in the Black community. We need you over here. I don't need you over there. We don't need you doing that stuff. So that was his only concern. And there's a lot of people like that still today that are like, I need you to be something so that we can rise up as a people. Do you ever have that pressure as a Black man?
Not now, but in the beginning, yeah. One of the things I was afraid to, when I released my first book, Words Never Spoken, I was afraid to release it because I didn't want to be accused by the Black gay community of trying to speak for everybody, or being accused by some and saying, well, why didn't you write about this? Or you need to talk about this. Like, I can only talk about my experiences, my life, and the experiences that I've witnessed, you know. And I believe that that's why there's room for so many different people. There's room for other stories, you know, because I'm not called to tell every story, right? That's not my responsibility. That's not my burden. But even prior to that, I remember one of my aunts, one of my mom's sisters, said to me, she said, Craig, can you just please just make something out of your life? I'm from Baltimore. She said, can you just please just make something out of your life? She said, because before we die, she said, because we need to see at least one of y'all do something. And I remember being so like, oh, that was another epiphany that I had, right? At some point along my journey of sitting still and paying attention to my life. Because I was in this depression because I was feeling like it was a subconscious thing, because I was feeling this enormous amount of pressure to succeed for my family so I could bring my family with me. And then I realized it ain't your responsibility to take care of them grown-ass Negroes.
Not
you
at all.
You understand what I'm saying?
Not
and
at
so
all.
then once I released that and I was able to relax in the journey and not try to force things, then things just, you know, just kind of opened up.
That's good. You know, I going back to what we were talking about earlier, it ties into what you just said, because when going back to that example about being in school and sitting in that first class, you understand that holding the degree and walking across the stage is one day, 1 hour, 2 hours maybe, but the journey of getting the degree is 4 years, 2 years, depending on what you're going after. There's much more in the journey than there ever is in the obtaining of the journey. So most people think they're gonna find their joy once they get it. You gotta find your joy on the trip. You gotta find, because you in that longer than when you get it, okay? So I need you to have some joy in the journey.
And here's the thing that I would tell you on the other side of that hump. And I'm not saying that my journey is over, because listen, I got a lot of
No, you got a lot more to do, yes.
Derek J is in here. He was in here. Listen,
he's in here.
We have this show called Gay Like Me Conversations that we're on the cusp of selling.
Woo.
But so there are a lot of things that I still want to do. But what I have learned on this side of this part of the journey is that it really didn't take as long as I thought it was taking.
No.
It really wasn't as difficult as it felt in those moments. I was stressing my own self out. And I realized that when I look back, it was just like, it really wasn't that bad.
It really wasn't.
You know what I'm saying? Now that I'm on this side, it's like, it really wasn't that bad.
It's never that bad, brother. It's never that bad. You know what? You know that adage that God doesn't put more on you than can bear. I look at it this way. This is how I think logically. When I look at, you know, my Bible, I see that God created the entire world and then created us. So that means that God fit it for us, that when we were created, it wasn't that we were created and then we had to figure out how to figure out that thing. No, that thing was created so that it would adapt to us, so that we would fit in. And
Yes.
so whatever comes your way on your path, on your journey, you are meant to handle it. You are equipped to deal with it. You are made to overcome it. There's nothing that is put in your path that is going to take you down, because literally you were designed to handle it.
I always say that we weren't designed to collapse.
Ever.
Yeah.
Ever. That's good. I like that.
Yeah. Book of Jewels. Listen, this is my best writing. It took me 8 years to write this book.
I get it.
But you know, in terms of like the relationship thing, just to kind of tie that into it as well.
Yeah.
You know, I have those surreal moments and stuff too, because just the way that our families have merged, in particular our moms, because we both were raised by single mothers. Our fathers were both very much so present, but we were raised in the household with our mothers. Like, I'm really close to his mom and his grandmother. He has a relationship with my mom. So it's just, sometimes it's just surreal, the relationship, because, you know, you kind of imagine yourself in this role, because I had kind of acquiesced. I had kind of got to a point where I felt like, okay, well, maybe I'm just not going to be one of those people that's going to have that kind of a story. Maybe I'm just one of those people that's supposed to pour into the world,
yeah,
and try to inspire other people, but I'm not going to be one of those people that has that thing. And then when it happened, that's another one of those scenarios where it's just like, wow, I can't even believe that, you know, this is happening. Like, what did I do to prepare myself?
What you did was what I said earlier, and I want you to catch that, because
Yeah.
it's not a surprise. That when you said, maybe I won't have this, maybe it's not for me, let me go on and help other people. When you took your eyes off of it, that's when you got it. Because you took your hands off of it, and so you allowed it to flow. So
and I believe that whatever you chase will always elude you.
Yes. Yes.
So like, if you're chasing money, because you're always talking about you broke and this, money will always escape you. Because you're always trying to, and the same thing with love. If you're always trying to find the next relationship, ooh, I want to be with somebody, it will always elude you. So, you know, my thing is, instead of chasing, attract. Don't chase, attract.
Attract. Be what you want, and it will naturally attract to you. I mean, you know, just is what it is. I could talk to you literally all day long, but I want to give you kind of, I mean, this is a good conversation. This is for real. I want to throw some things at you, just kind of get to know you. They're really lightning round questions. They're easy.
Okay.
So this is just to get to know you. And for those who are watching, who are like, you know, what does Craig like? Let's see. We're going to get to know Craig just a little bit more today. So between the two, just pick one. It's one word or one sentence answers. Lightning round begins now. So coffee or tea?
Tea.
Ooh, that's good. All right. I'm a tea man too. Do you like light or dark liquor?
Light.
Are you a cat or dog person?
Dog.
All right. Let's see. Do you prefer mountains or the beach?
The beach.
Are you I will do it now or I will do it tomorrow?
I'm going to do it when I feel like it.
I'm here for that. I'm here for that. Are you Old Testament or New Testament?
I'm going to have a relationship with Jesus and God yourself. That's what I am.
I'm here for that. See, I like that question because it made people go a little left on me. I like that. All right. So as an author, I'm going to throw out some questions because I love these specifically for authors. So are you the type that likes to write in silence or with some noise?
I got to have some noise. But it's a certain kind of music. I have like a writing playlist, in fact. But like, it can't be upbeat, like, you know, that music that's going to make you be like, you know.
Oh, no, I can't.
It's very specific. Like it's Liz Wright, it's Layla Hathaway,
yes,
it's Lettucey.
Now wait, I can't do words. I can't. I'm sorry.
I can do words.
It will have to be the jazz version because I
can
can't
do
that.
words, but it has to be very melodic, lots of strings, that kind of thing, right? Lots of harmonies. It just puts me in a space. It's John Mayer. It's Coldplay.
I can do that. Yeah.
It's just certain music, you know, that I need, and it just kind of, it feels like a soundtrack to me, and I can just visualize everything that I'm writing.
I love that. I love that. That's dope. Let's see. Do you prefer? No, this is it. West Side or East Side American?
I'm a West Side kind of guy, but I now live on the East Side.
We here now.
Yeah.
We here now. Song that you've had on repeat in the last week.
Ooh, in the last week. I don't think I had a song on repeat in the last week.
What about 2 weeks?
Okay, so the last song that I had on repeat was Jasmine Sullivan, A Girl Like Me.
Now that's one right there. Jasmine, ooh, yes. Oh, hello, you felt that too, huh?
Listen.
Felt that one, huh?
Yeah.
Look, that's one of those people like, a girl like me.
Yeah. She writes. She's so thoughtful in the way that she writes.
She is. She's a brilliant. I mean, just intentional with every word.
Yes.
I mean, just and all her songs are like that, though.
Yes.
I love what she does. Favorite artist that has gone on?
Maybe Aretha.
I'll give you that.
No, or Luther.
Luther, come on, okay. I was about to, oh Lord, Luther, come on now, Luther. He sang with Aretha, okay. He used to be back.
It might be Luther.
You got to give it to our man, Luther.
Yeah, it might be Luther. It might be Luther.
Come on, the suits, come on.
Yeah.
You better have they on stage. Okay, last one, and I'll let you go. What is your favorite type of dessert?
You know, I'm really not a big dessert person. Now, he is. And he actually called me today and was like, oh my God, there's this vegan, it's a black-owned vegan ice cream place.
Where?
That he came across. He said it's downtown, so I don't even know the exact place. I don't know the name of it. She's been there since 2018. Carlton. Yeah. What's the name of the place? Oh, shoot. He doesn't even remember.
You got to send me the address.
It's down.
Okay? You got to send me the address.
Yeah, I have to send it to you. But what's it called? It's on Forsyth. It's on Forsyth Street, somewhere downtown.
Forsyth Street. I'm gonna Google that vegan ice cream. I'm gonna Google that.
He went on and on about this ice cream for 3 minutes on the phone.
Well, it's hard to find that. Okay, it's hard to find. So
but I got a junk food that I do, like sweet heat potato chips.
Ooh.
I was eating some last night.
I'm gonna tell you a chip that actually was surprisingly good. I was at Rick Ross' house, and they had his bag of chips. It wasn't his because his was plain. It was the ones that were sour cream and onion. And I forget which artist it was. Which one was it?
You talking about them little hip hop chips?
Yes, that was really good. It had a lot of flavor. Brother, I'm not even joking. It had like 5 different flavors to let us taste. That's sweet.
Yep. Listen,
sour cream and onion.
If you ain't ever had sweet heat potato chips, you better go over there and get you some. What you say it's called? Loads of Pops?
Loads of Pops.
It's called Mocha Pops.
Mocha Pops. So okay, I
Mocha
like
Pops.
I like the blackish name.
It's on Forsyth Street downtown. So
okay,
it's a black woman that owns it.
All right. Well, I'm gonna have to. I'll have to meet y'all there one day. I appreciate you for being on, brother. This has been an amazing talk. Thank you for spending some time with me on Love Talk Tuesday. Go ahead and tell the people where to find you and all the books and greeting cards and everything else.
Yeah, just visit CraigTheWriterStewart.com and everything is there. All 4 books are listed there. You can purchase from the website. I will sign them and ship them out to you. We run good black business over here. You typically get them within 2 days via FedEx. My YouTube channel is Craig the Writer, but all of that stuff you can find right from CraigTheWriterStewart.com.
I love that. What's your favorite thing that you said or that you felt about the conversation today before we leave?
Oh, wow. Learning to adapt and trusting the process and not collapsing. We weren't built or designed to collapse. Yeah.
Everybody, you heard it here. You are not designed to collapse. All right. Thank you, brother, for being on. And thank you for everybody who tuned in today. Thank you for being a part of this. And remember that you are worth the love that you seek. So keep seeking higher forms and ways and means of love. Peace and blessings to you all. Follow me, the Love Guru, at Byron Jamal. Love you, brother.
Bye. Bye-bye, y'all.
Peace.
Night.